In June 2008, Pune Junction was the primary entry point for a generation of engineering graduates. The city was the center of an IT expansion that promised a clear route to the middle class. This path is a social contract. It promises that a technical degree and a move to a tech hub will provide stability and progress. Yet he looks at the city with the nervousness of someone who doesn't see himself in the crowd. He reached the finish line of his education, only to find he was standing at the start of a system he didn't understand. The industry's public image suggested glass towers and innovation. The reality was often a third-floor office in a suburb, where employees sat in cramped wooden cubicles under the hum of flickering fluorescent tubes. On his first day, a senior colleague drops a thick stack of code on his desk. This is the legacy of the people who came before him. Thousands of lines of a logic he cannot decipher, which he is now expected to maintain. A manager stamps his documents, never pausing his phone conversation. Amit is shown an empty desk. Within an hour, the excitement of the default path disappears. This is the specific trap of the prescribed dream. It places individuals in environments that are incompatible with their temperament, then frames that mismatch as a personal requirement for success. Every night he sits on the building staircase to call home. He hears his mother's pride through the small speaker of his Nokia phone. He tells her the work is going well and that he likes the city, because the truth would only worry her. At lunch, he sits at the end of the table. His colleagues talk about project deadlines and technical jargon. He eats his tiffin in silence, physically there, but outside the conversation. There is a widening gap between the outward expectation of a young professional in Pune and the actual internal well-being of someone who feels like a ghost in his own life. The friction here is where exhaustion begins. It takes more energy to maintain this performance than to do the actual work. This constant acting causes a steady erosion of identity. The job doesn't just take his time, it consumes the energy he needs to remember who he was before he arrived. On salary day, an SMS notifies him of his first credit. He looks at the numbers on the screen. The money arrives, but it fails to provide any sense of belonging or relief from the daily disconnect. In the middle of a Tuesday afternoon, he stops typing. He rests his forehead against his hand and closes his eyes. He is experiencing a quiet, total collapse at a desk surrounded by people. 10 feet away, the office continues its routine. Phones ring, keyboards click, and people walk to the water cooler. The indifference of the room makes his isolation feel absolute. The corporate system is built for output, not for the individuals producing it. It isn't designed to notice when a worker stops fitting into the machine. It simply waits for the next task to be completed. The breaking point is the realization that he is functioning invisibly within a system that does not see him. Significant changes in direction rarely start with an argument. They often begin in a moment of absolute stillness, when the noise of other people's expectations finally stops. He skips the office one morning and sits at a chai stall. He watches the street calmly. People walking, autos passing, a city waking up. In this unhurried reality, he realizes he no longer needs to force himself to fit into a life that makes him miserable. When a path hits a dead end, the only rational move is to step off it, turn away from the obstacle, and walk toward open space. He stops trying to fix a broken expectation. By accepting that he doesn't belong here, he finds his first moment of genuine clarity since arriving in the city. He goes back to his desk and types a one-line resignation email. There is no bitterness or explanation required. He clicks send and closes the laptop. He walks out of the building into the June heat. As he moves down the street with his small bag, the isolation of the office is replaced by a physical sense of lightness. He is just one person in a crowd, moving at his own pace. Cultural myths suggest that being average or leaving a stable career track is a personal failure, but those myths rely on the idea that everyone is meant for the same narrow path. Choosing to step away from a life that doesn't fit is a difficult, rare act of honesty. In a world that demands performance, walking away is how you regain yourself.